Welcome back, True Seeker. If you are in the Los Angeles area and you are near Staples Center, Ralph from the community who was out there with us at the Laker games this past April, he's going to be out passing out information about Kobe Bryant's death, Gematria. If you came out in April, you met Ralph. He made those cool little Kobe books, and he's a longtime member of the community. He's been documenting this really wild pattern with the Denver Nuggets and the Lakers ever since Kobe Bryant died. And you might have noticed that today on Kobe Bryant Day, they announced, well, just it wasn't that long ago. It was just a couple weeks back. They said they're going to unveil the Kobe Bryant statue on August 8th, 2024. Well, today on Kobe Bryant Day, they changed the date to exactly 6 months earlier, February 8th, 2024. 24 weeks from today exactly. And it'll be against the Denver Nuggets, who, of course, just won the championship. And recall, where Kobe Bryant died at age 41 while traveling from Catholic Mass on the Pope's 41st day of his age, the Denver Nuggets just won the finals 4-1 on George H.W. Bush's birthday, who was number 41. And Jokic was the 41st pick of the draft. And 41 relates to Skull and Bones, who have the Russell Trust. And of course, Russell's a big name in basketball, from the names of the balls to the star players like Bill Russell, who died on the last day of the Jesuit Nation year as a Jesuit star athlete. Bill Russell out of San Francisco, who played for Boston, who died right after Boston lost to San Francisco in the finals, again on the last day of the Jesuit Nation year, in the time of the first Jesuit Pope, where again Kobe died at age 41 on his 41st day of his age. But yeah, if you're new here, gematria, the practice of coding numbers into words. It's what makes these things where you go, could that be a coincidence? It's where being aware of this makes it very unlikely. Again, in gematria, Kobe Bryant equals 41. He dies at age 41 on the Pope's 41st day of his age, when his career was largely defined by that number. In his last career game, he scored 60 points. The rest of his team scored 41. He came off the court with 4.1 seconds, and his career high 81 in his 666th game it was when he had his career high. The rest of his team scored 41. Again, big number for Kobe's career, 41, only to die at 41 in the season of AD, when after Kobe's retirement, they put out the Kobe Bryant AD shoe. But yeah, before I get further into this, again, if you're in the Los Angeles area, you want to go down to the Staples Center, find Ralph. Ralph's going to be down there today. Or just go with another group and just set up shop. You guys will probably just run into each other. Again, that area where all the statues are for the Lakers, I imagine that's where Ralph will be, right in that area, right where we were when we were there in April. And, but yeah, I've been working on this short little book about Kobe's death, and it's almost done, but I got delayed because I'm working on the Maui thing over time and trying to keep up with everything. But I realized today, as I thought I had a big long list, I realized I was just missing the gematria of Mamba Day. Again, they call this Kobe Bryant Day. It's also called Mamba Day, of course, because he was the Black Mamba. But I didn't have in the book that Mamba Day equals 60 or 24. Again, they announced the new statue exactly 24 weeks from today. But 60 is huge in the book I'm writing right now about Kobe Bryant. And again, the more since I identified this, if you missed when I talked about this the other week, how I was missing how big this relationship is with the number 60 and the number 4. Since then, we've seen the fourth indictment come for Trump. The fourth indictment from the fourth state, and the news, the hype of that indictment came on the 60th day of Trump's age. And of course, it's all leading up to the 60th election. And there's been a lot of 60 we've been covering in the 60th election. Like today, he's surrendering in Atlanta. And the DA, Willis, she wants the court date, the trial to start October 23rd, 60 days from today. Alvin Bragg, 60 in gematria, like Donald Trump, like indictment. Anyway, that's not the focus, but I was really zeroing in on the relationship with the number 4 and and 60 in light of what happened with Moses Malone, Daryl Dawkins, and Kobe Bryant, and what could happen to Michael Jordan, sadly, as soon as the next year's time, while he's 60 years old, in light of him going 6-0 in finals and winning his fourth in the year Kobe joined the NBA 96. But again, here's what it is that's so important about 60. As you know, Kobe scored 60 in his last career game against Utah. And Kobe was the fourth player taken out of high school in NBA history. But he wasn't the fourth player taken out of high school to pro basketball. That's because Moses Malone was the first taken out of high school by the ABA that eventually merged with the NBA. Last year Denver won it, and then San Antonio got the top pick, and San Antonio has that Gematria 41 as well. And Denver and San Antonio came over from the ABA in the same year, the 76 season, and this was the 76th anniversary season. Anyway, back to the 60. 1983. Bear Bryant dies on January 26th. Kobe dies on January 26th in 2020, on the anniversary of Bear Bryant. In 1983, Kobe Bryant is 4 years old until he turns 5 on August 23rd. So he was 4 for the majority of the year, and that means he was 4 when the Philadelphia 76ers with Moses Malone won Philly the championship. Kobe's from Philly. Moses Malone, those finals in 1983 began 60 days after his birthday. 60 days after his birthday. And those finals ended 281 days after Kobe Bryant's birthday, which is the 60th prime number. Again, when you spell out, well, let's remember also that Moses Malone, playing for Philly, Kobe's hometown at the time, wow, Barbara, I see your super chat. I'm going to address that. Thank you very much. That's very generous. But again, Moses Malone, he swept the Lakers in 4 games. They won 4-0. His famous quote is faux, faux, faux. 4-0. When you spell out 4 as a word in Gematria, F is the 6th letter of the alphabetic order, O is the 15th, U's the 21st, R's the 18th. Those letters, 6 plus 15 plus 21 plus 18, adds up to 60. So there's this Gematria relationship with 4 and 60. Again, Philly wins 4-0 in the finals that start 60 days after Moses Malone's birthday, and 281 days after Kobe's 4th birthday, they end, the 60th prime. Years later, Moses Malone dies at age 60, right before Kobe's last season. Moses Malone was drafted by Utah. Kobe finishes against Utah, scoring 60. And it was 213 days after Moses Malone's death that Kobe finished his career. 213, like the old school LA area code, 213, just like how the Rams just won the Super Bowl on February 13th recently. But again, not only did Moses Malone die at age 60 before that season, Daryl Dawkins died, and in Gematria, Daryl Dawkins equals 60. By the way, if I haven't made it clear, Mamba Day equals 60 with the alphabetic order. It equals 24 when you take the alphabetic order with numerology. The name Daryl Dawkins, when you take the alphabetic order with numerology, is 60. The name Malone, with just the alphabetic order, is 60. Again, Moses Malone dead at 60. Moses with numerology equals 17, and Daryl Dawkins died 17 days before Moses Malone. NBA with the alphabetic order is 17. Like the year Kobe died was in LeBron's 17th season, and he won the Lakers their 17th championship. Coming from Ohio, the 17th state, on the first day of the 7th month. Like how the Rams went from Cleveland to LA, who won the Super Bowl with Odell Beckham, who went from Cleveland to LA on his birthday, November 5th, the day leaving 56 days left in the year, only to win Super Bowl 56 on 213 in the 213 area code. Again, making the point that this is bigger than Kobe. These number rituals are going on all throughout sports. Planned outcomes, ritual deaths, season after season by this code. But 60, Daryl Dawkins equals 60. Moses Malone dead 60. Why those two? They're both connected to Philadelphia through basketball like Kobe. And Daryl Dawkins was the first player drafted out of high school by the NBA. Moses Malone was the first player drafted out of high school, period, but he was drafted the year before by the ABA. Moses Malone was drafted in the year 74. Kobe died in the 74th NBA season. Kind of like MJ's father was found dead on the side of US 74, the highway. So you have this number connecting all of their names and the significant numbers, the age of death, Kobe's last game. Moses Malone died 4 years before Kobe. This upcoming NBA season is going to be 4 years after the one that Kobe died in. And again, Jordan just happens to be 60 right now, and he went 6-0 in finals. And again, like how his father's death fits in with the numerical pattern of Moses Malone and Kobe. Again, 74 was the draft year for Moses. 74 was the season count when Kobe died. And where this gets interesting is in Gematria, Exodus equals 74. Exodus 74, where Moses, he leads his people out of bondage. And in Exodus 4, if you open up Exodus 4 in the Bible and read that, it's where Moses doubts God, so God turns his staff into a snake. Kobe the black mamba, right? And again, in Gematria, holy equals 60. And when we think holy, of course, we think Bible, but holy also kind of applies to a Kobe Bryant or a Michael Jordan or even a Moses Malone. These men who are worshiped for their athleticism and the winning that they can bring for a city and a town who they build their lives around this. It's just like living in Seattle. That team lives and dies with its football team in football season. The Seahawks lose, you can just feel that the energy's down in the town. They win, a lot of people are up. They're having more fun. These sports teams are so integral to our society. And again, there's a reason that Kobe died and everyone's heart sunk. And then there was his burial in Corona del Mar in the unmarked grave as the coronavirus pandemic was declared. And again, the pharmaceutical lawsuit. Again, there's a reason for all of this. And remember, 2016, the year that Kobe Bryant retired, was the year that they started Kobe Bryant Day or Mamba Day. 2020 is 4 years later when he dies, right? So you had the 2016, the 2017, the 2018, and the 2019, 4 official Mamba days before Kobe died. He wasn't alive when the one hit in 2020 because he died in January. Mamba Day is August 24th. So there were 4 Mamba days. And again, when you spell out 4, it's 60. And since I started observing this thing with 4 and 60 and how layered it is with the Kobe Bryant, and again, just, this upcoming season, 4 seasons since the one Kobe died in, while Jordan's 60. It's just strange. I forgot to mention in Exodus, Moses sees the promised land from Jordan. So Jordan fits in with this Exodus theme, this 74 connection, these same numbers, these holy Bible, these men that are worshiped, these men that have sold gazillions of dollars for companies like Nike, who put out a movie with Hollywood this year gloating about how much money Nike made off of Michael Jordan, the marketing of Michael Jordan. But yeah, you guys, when we go back down to LA, what we did in April was really impressive, and we did plant a lot of seeds. And I feel bad that I'm not there today because at the time I said I would be there on Kobe Bryant Day. Of course, we've reshifted plans based on what's happened since. But yeah, just finishing this little book on Kobe Bryant. We will be down there with those books the day of the unveiling of the statue. The only thing that's troubling about that time of year is it's not normally bad. It's not normally at least bad in LA. It's just weather. So I'm just going to start praying right now for positive weather around here so that there's no issue getting to an airport. I live out in the middle of nowhere now, but the roads can get bad in the winter. Like last year, we had a lot of really icy highways, but Yeah, anyway, February 8th, 2024, the day they're unveiling the statue. Let's be there. Let's have a good turnout. Let's have books and we'll make it the days after too, because if it's exactly 24 weeks from today, which it is, that means it's also in the middle of the week, which is the same problem with Kobe Bryant Day. But since they're unveiling the statue, that's going to bring out a crowd. So that's perfect. So we want to be there for that event. As always, get into town early. Probably do it the day before, day of, and 2 days after would be Saturday. I think doing it Friday and Saturday, just having a big, series of days, getting the truth seekers out, getting the knowledge out. Um, I think let's mark that down for the calendar. If you can only make one day, make it February 8th, the day of the unveiling, and let's try to plant a lot of seeds that day. And again, there's other statues that you can plant seeds about right next to the Kobe one, like the Elgin Baylor one and what they did with him, and Delnardo Webster, and Silas was one, but whose name I want to say right now is escaping me for the moment. Who they got this year from Creighton, in addition to Silas. Anyway, 60-4. The four U.S. presidential faces, the four faces at Mount Rushmore in South Dakota, that are etched in the side of the mountain. What is it? George Washington, Thomas Jefferson, Teddy Roosevelt, and Abe Lincoln. It's interesting how they're slightly out of order. There must be something to that. But anyway, those four faces, they're each 60 feet long, just the 4 and 60 thing. The fourth book of the Bible is titled Numbers. So many things seem pretty soon we're going to start looking at the Bible and just like focusing on a number, going through sections of the Bible, like the fourth section. Again, Genesis 4 is about Cain killing Abel, his brother. And yeah, I was just talking about that in a big way with the death of Black Youngsta and his third brother at age 33, and the last two brothers to dying 4 years apart. And yeah, how it all fits in with the Cain and Abel story. It's crazy. It's crazy how they do this biblical stuff. That's obviously what the Illuminati is. Isn't it funny? It's funny to think that right about the time 9/11 was happening, the popular movie series were The Matrix, Fight Club, which ends with buildings falling in free fall, um, the Lord of the Rings with the two towers, and what was the first movie I want to say? It was like the most important one. Now it's going to slip my mind. Oh. Anyway, just all these movies that related to again that there's a fine line between entertainment and cultural programming. It's not even a fine line. It's all part of the same soup. But yeah, again, that's why Kobe, burial in Corona del Mar, then coronavirus. So anyway, the nice thing is, once I get this in the well-written and very efficient book that's packed with information, just like when I'm speaking off the cuff, sometimes I lose my train of thought. Hey, if you have your book right there to guide you, you don't have to read from the pages, but just like, oh yeah, anyway, that's what it's going to look like this February. Gathering, getting out information, planting more seeds than we have before, spending a few days down there to do it. Down there for Thursday, my mindset is might as well be down there through Saturday, because again, that's the weekend, Friday and Saturday. And usually it's not the worst place to be in the world in February is Los Angeles. But as crazy as weather's been, we'll see what they're doing. We'll see what they're doing for that day. Okay, so just a few other things that are interesting about the statue. In addition to on this Kobe Bryant Day, them announcing the unveiling of the statue on February 8th. You also have Beyonce in the news today. And remember, the day that Kobe died was the day of the Grammys in the building that the Lakers play in, the Staples Center at the time. Now it's Crypto.com Arena. But Beyonce set a record that day at the Grammys. And got a very symbolic one in light of Kobe's death. And we talked about at the time how once upon a time when she was in Destiny's Child, they put out the song Bugaboo on Kobe's birthday, August 23rd. Kobe's birthday is August 23rd. Kobe Day or Mamba Day is August 24th because he wore the jerseys 8 and 24. But that song, Bugaboo, it has Gematria 126. And again, Kobe would end up dying on January 26th, the anniversary of Bear Bryant. And last year on Kobe Bryant Day, the Dodgers smoked the opponent 12-6. And Ralph's been documenting how ever since Kobe died, the Nuggets and Lakers keep having 126 points just way too often in the final score, only for this to now happen where the statue is being unveiled on a game where they're playing the Denver Nuggets. And just as soon as yesterday I made the same point, and we made it so many times. When Kobe died, he died exactly 38 weeks after his wife's birthday, and he had the affair in Colorado, the 38th state. Colorado equals 38, the state of 1,038 rituals. You know, this year LeBron sets the points record. He broke a 38-year record on the 38th day of the year, scoring 38, and the next thing you know, Colorado, the 38th state's winning. Remember, the Seahawks beat the Broncos, you know, the Colorado team, in their 38th season in the Super Bowl. And then years later, Russell Wilson goes to the Broncos on March 8th, 3-8. And then that year, the Broncos start the year 3-8 against the Panthers, who also have the 38 connection and lost in Super Bowl 38. And like the Broncos won the golden anniversary of the Super Bowl on the 38th day of the year, February 7th, in the 49ers Stadium, named after the Gold Rush, when gold equals 38. That was the 50th anniversary. Anyway, Bugaboo 126, like the date he died. Destiny's Child 74, dead in the 74th NBA season. So this is just something to think about in light of that. They released that song on Kobe's birthday all those years earlier when he was just 3 years into the NBA. Again, his NBA career began in 96. That was 99. They're both young stars on the stage on the way to, greatness. So Beyonce, the day that Kobe died, she got her 24th Grammy. 24, right? In the building that, again, Kobe played in. And Kobe died on the 157th day of his age. Kobe Bryant's 157, so is Staples Center. And 157 is the 37th prime, like Los Angeles. And again, he died on the 37th year anniversary of Bear Bryant. The name Bryant's 26 forwards, 37 in reverse, like he died on the 26th and the 37-year anniversary. But that album with Bugaboo also released on the day, leaving 157 days left in the year. If I didn't say so already, Beyonce's in the news today. She has a request for her birthday. And they're making that news. Again, CNN was covering this as a top story this morning. Beyonce's request for her birthday. And I heard that and I thought, today's Kobe Bryant Day. Her birthday is not till September 4th. And Beyonce has the same birthday as the city of Los Angeles, where Kobe died, the city of angels. Beyonce's birthday is September 4th. So was Los Angeles. So, and just yesterday on Kobe's birthday, they put out the Halo shoe. Beyonce has that song Halo. Again, the weird thing for me, when I went down to LA, the first place I went into to get something to drink in the morning, the song that was playing on the radio when I went in there was Halo. I thought, what are the odds of that? We're down here to talk about Kobe's death by the numbers and all these things. Beyonce's Grammy, and then this is the song that's on the radio. So now here we are. It is Kobe Bryant's birthday and Kobe Day, and Beyonce's here again, the Halo shoe. The big thing that stands out to me, you know how we just talked about the death of the Black Godfather and how he died 54 years after establishing Sussex records, which equals 54, like Jesuit order, like Kobe Bean Bryant. Again, Jay-Z's going to turn 54 this year. So is Diddy. And Jay-Z, you know, a lot of people heard him for the first time on Diddy's album No Way Out after Biggie's death, where he's talking about how people aren't prepared for this new world order. But 54 is a huge number with this Jesuit cabal, and that's part of the reason Kobe died the Sunday before Super Bowl 54. The Joe Montana Bowl. Joe Montana equals 54. It's between his two teams. He wore 19 with the Chiefs. The Chiefs won that to conclude the 2019 season that wrapped up in the start of 2020. Of course, Montana wore 16 with the Niners. Gold also equals 16, and he won Super Bowl 16 with the team named after the Gold Rush. But yeah, just Jay-Z. Jay-Z about to hit 54. Remember what we were just talking about with Jay-Z and Maui. Again, you guys, Jay-Z's first music video that he appears in is Hawaiian Sophie. He only has a couple lines in it, but he's in there. And if you haven't seen him in the music video, he comes down. It's like there's a Hawaiian stage set, and you got the rapper and the girls in front of the stage or the area that's in viewing. Jay-Z comes down from the air on ropes that are attached behind him near his neck area. So you see like a rope behind him. It's not you can't see that it's around his neck or anything. It says 1989. I don't know, in HD maybe you could, but you can see that it's behind him, the rope. So he comes down, and then right at the 50-second mark, he just gets yanked right out of the screen by this rope at 50 seconds. Now, that's interesting because Hawaii just got wrecked, the 50th state, the week of hip-hop's 50th birthday. And again, the connection here is deep if you've not heard me talk about this and you're just tuning in for Kobe Bryant on Kobe Bryant Day. But this connection is deep, you guys. Here's how it comes together. This is why Jay-Z getting yanked up at the 50th second, why this doesn't look like it's an accident, and it's foretelling of something to come. Kanye West got famous through Jay-Z. Okay, we're going to bring this all together. And Kanye West put out his 808 and Heartbreaks album in November of 2008, the same month that Obama was elected president of the United States. Number 44. Jay-Z's got the 444 album. Obama's from Hawaii, which burned up 4 days after his birthday on August 4th. And the fires of Maui destroyed the town August 8th and August 9th, the fires that raged for those days. And August 9th was the 4-year anniversary of the end of Dora the Explorer. And they're saying the only home that survived in that stretch of Maui that's all burned down was the owner of that home is named Dora Milliken. Dora, a rare name. All these Doras. And Dora Milliken, for a living, paints pictures of power lines. And they're saying a downed power line and the winds from Dora is what caused the Maui devastation ultimately. But, okay, Obama's from Hawaii. Kanye has the 808s and Heartbreak album recorded in Hawaii, the 808 area code that was made the 808 area code on August 8th, 1957, also August 8th. Hip hop, HH, the 8th letter. That's why sometimes hip hop's abbreviated 88. It's like an understood code for hip hop, 88. And what made hip hop music in the early days? The Roland 808 drum machine, the 808 out of Japan, not far from Hawaii, where Hiroshima and Nagasaki were destroyed on August 6th and August 9th. And this Maui fire fell right in that timeline, August 8th and August 9th. And with regards to Jay-Z and Kanye West and Obama just turned 62 years old. Hawaii burned up beginning August 8th, which was the 62nd day of Kanye West's age. August 9th was 62 days after his birthday. And in Gematria, Jay-Z equals 62. And the new mayor of Maui, he just happens to be born in 62. And The Rock, who's also part of this. The Hawaiian Sophie song came out on The Rock's birthday, which is another detail. But The Rock's now portraying the king of Hawaii, which is a controversy because The Rock's Polynesian, he's not Hawaiian. And the Polynesian fire god Maui is also who The Rock portrayed in the Disney films. And anyhow, that Hawaiian Sophie music video came out on The Rock's 17th birthday, the one where Jay-Z hangs. And Maui and Jay-Z both equal 17, like the word kill. And again, that came out on The Rock's 17th birthday. And Hawaii became a state when Joe Biden was 17 years old, which is another angle to work in here to see how big this puzzle is and how this is being put together. Again, this, when Jay-Z's doing the Diamond Illuminati thing, remember Jay-Z, Rockefeller Records, a play on Rockefeller. The Blueprint came out on September 11th, 2001. The Rockefeller family is who pushed forward the World Trade Center construction project because nobody really wanted it. That was the family that drove that project, the Rockefellers. Jay-Z with Rockefeller putting out the blueprint on 9/11 as he becomes the king of hip hop in the 21st century after all the actual kings either died or just gave up the throne because they didn't want to be the next one on the list, like the Nas's of the world. But anyway, the Maui thing. I guess there's a few more things I should say about it. Moana, the Disney film, where the island is dying and they need the green stone to save the island, like the Green New Agenda, like how the new governor of Hawaii is Josh Green, and Maui burned up on his 247th day in office while the U.S. is 247 years old. The original overthrow of Hawaii by Americans was done by something called the Committee of 13. The Committee of 13 in 1893, in December of 1893, just like how Pearl Harbor happened in December. 1893 to 2023 is 130 years later. 130. It was the Committee of 13 that overthrew. Now, Maui burned August 8th, 13 days before August 21st, which is the day that Maui turned 64 years old. Maui turned 64. August 21st. In Gematria, Joe Biden equals 64. On Maui's 64th birthday, Joe Biden goes to speak there about the fires all these years after the Committee of 13 overthrew. Remember, 13 is the number of stripes on the flag, the number of 13 colonies, the number of colonies to begin the nation, the number of years of public school. And before the establishment of the United States of America, 64 days prior, on May 1st, 1776, that's the day the Illuminati was founded. Again, there's 64 spaces on the chessboard. International Chess Day comes from Paris, France, where the Jesuits and, in a sense, the Illuminati, part of that legacy, but the Jesuits were created in Paris. A Jesuit created the Illuminati. In Gematria, order of Illuminati equals 201. From Joe Biden's birth to Hawaii's birth is 201 months and 1 day later. Again, all these things are overlapping angles, and maybe it's too much to explain without visuals on the screen, but just trying to paint the picture. The Illuminati is, again, a Jesuit cult. The Jesuits serve the Catholic Church. It's a sun cult. The sun illuminates the world. In Gematria, sun equals 54, like Jesuit order. Big rituals in time with 54, like the death of the Black Godfather 54 years after Sussex Records. And then again, TMZ had the picture with him and Jay-Z and Diddy. We talked about that the day he died. And again, both those men turned 54 years old this year. Diddy on November 4th, Jay-Z on December 4th, the anniversary of Fred Hampton's murder, which was in Chicago. And oh, yeah. I forgot something important. That's why it's easier when you write it all down and you can just read from it, because then you just got it down written the right way in a script. But the Committee of 13, that thing that overthrew Hawaii, it began out of 1860 with the fallout of the nation and the Civil War. And it's interesting that it began in 1860, because that means it was 33 years later that they overthrew Hawaii in 1893. Remember, the Great Fire of Chicago started at the address 137. Hawaii has 8 big islands, but 137 total islands. 137 is the 33rd prime. In Gematria, Hawaii equals 33. Again, just parallels between Chicago and Hawaii. You have the Great Fire connection through 137. You have the Kanye and Obama thing, because they are big in 08 at the same time with 808s in the election. And then you got Jay-Z connected to Kanye, who's connected to Fred Hampton, who was murdered by the feds in Chicago. But yeah, the other thing that's wild is Fred Hampton was murdered on his 97th day of his age, and the surname Carter equals 97. Jay-Z's Sean Carter. And Hurricane's also 97. Like the boxer Reuben Carter was the Hurricane. But again, there's some big things coming. We know there's always shock and deaths in this world, and I mean, it was years ago that Pimp C died at age 33 on Jay-Z's birthday. And they said it was because he had too much drink. And of course, he had the song with Jay-Z. Big song on the radio, Big Pimpin'. Again, show business is deadly business, and you just see that all these rituals are rituals and numbers. And then you study what these numbers mean, and it starts to all make a little bit of sense. Again, we started, at least I started researching this in August of 2013. I didn't really have any leads at all other than Manly P. Hall said there's a code of letters and numbers in the alphabet. See what you can find. It's like, really? Let me look into that. I had no idea. But yeah, we'll probably have to have some other short books for some other big deaths in the not too distant future. And again, the purpose of this work is to change the world. It is to get people to wake up to the evil things that are controlling these leagues. Again, as people funnel into these stadiums, essentially given this cabal just a never-ending waterfall of resources. I mean, would the fan continue to do it if they really understood how sick the game was and what's going on and what's been done to Kobe and why that statue's actually coming that day? I forgot another 54. I always forget this 54 whenever I talk about Kobe, but it's also a 126, like him and his daughter died on 126. But look at the daughter's name, Gianna Bryant. It's got the 54 in it too. Again, they died on a Sunday, traveling from Catholic Mass. Also 126. You see the 54 and 72 in her name? Just like Jesuit order. Big numbers with this gang and the rituals. Again, the sun moves 1 degree on the astrological wheel every 72 years. The sun 24 hours a day. I had this interesting thought the other day, and then it blew me away that I was like, I guess the timing was perfect. Again, we just talked about how the United States of America is 247 years old right now. 247 years old. So is the Illuminati. And again, Maui burned up on the 247th day of the new governor being in office, Josh Green. I forgot to make the point that Josh Green was at the United Nations to talk Green New Deal stuff on July 12th, just before Maui burned up. A date that can be written 12/7, because remember, Pearl Harbor was on December 7th, the other 127 date. And The Rock, so the controversy with The Rock playing the Hawaiian king, whose name equals 62, the name of that king. Like Obama's turned 62, like it happened on Kanye's 62nd day of his age. Again, like Jay-Z, 62 and 17, video on The Rock's 17th birthday. But The Rock is Polynesian. And you see how Polynesia's 127? 127 Polynesia. The Rock introduced the new Moana live-action film April 3rd, 127 days before the fire. Again, he plays the character Maui. Maui is the Polynesian fire god. And the live-action film begins with a trailer where the island's bursting into flames. We looked at this. And in addition to Polynesia being 127, that woman, Dora, who paints power lines, who had the only surviving home, her name is Dora Milliken. You see the 127? Her full name is Dora Atwater Milliken, also 127, and the name Milliken is also 127. And then again, you have the thing with the book Fire and Fury? Fire and Fury, 127. Also 64, like how Hawaii turned 64 years old and the Joe Biden 64 thing. And in 1964, Hurricane Dora was a significant storm. And Pepsi, the biggest food company in North America, bought Mountain Dew, who's been releasing these flavors that seem to be synced up with this crazy weather, like the Baja Blast and the Maui Burst. Again, we've covered all this. It's a lot to review. But Fire and Fury, the book that's out right now about Maui burning, that the media is just saying is a coincidence and not a conspiracy, it's also 127. Again, Pearl Harbor, December 7th. They called 9/11 the new Pearl Harbor. Buildings 1, 2, and 7 fell. That was in New York, where the governor, Josh Green, was talking Green New Deal, synced up with the Moana film that's about restoring the island through the Greenstone. There's more to this 127 list, but and notice this. Look at all the numbers really for Fire and Fury. 127. We just talked about that. 64. How old Hawaii turned. Joe Biden, Mr. 64, there for the 64th birthday. And remember, Kanye's connected, right? And Kanye got famous for criticizing the federal government for their slow response to Katrina. Now we're having deja vu, Joe Biden's slow response to Hawaii. And you see how Fire and Fury, hold on. Let me go back. Polynesia. Let's go back to Polynesia. Let me just write it back up there. You see how Polynesia's 46? You see how Chicago's 46? That's how old Kanye is right now. The word flooding is 46. Kanye did it after the flooding of Katrina. Remember, the flooding of Maui, the crazy flooding March 8th, 2021, that was perfectly synced with the fire, which are both synced with The Rock and the Moana films. Again, it's a lot to explain. I'm not going to do it all in one video, but in case you've missed those, you can go back and watch. But all of this stuff is successive. And again, in my book, which has been out for years now, again, I wrote this in 2017, the chapter on weather warfare, it begins with the significance of the numbers 46 and 62 in the first ever weather warfare experiment admitted to, which was on the Jesuit order's birthday, August 15th, 1952. And this year on August 15th, the governor of Hawaii referred to Lahaina, the burn spot, as ground zero. Again, that's terminology that relates to the history of the weapons testing programs out of Manhattan, like where the World Trade Centers fell. Again, buildings 1, 2, and 7, Pearl Harbor, December 7th, all the 127s on this. Ground zero, 127, 62, 46. Obama's 62 on Kanye's 62nd day of his age while he's 46, when his fame is connected to Katrina and a natural disaster and a poor federal response. And now it's the same thing in the time as Obama number 4, or not Obama, but Biden number 46. Biden number 46. Again, the guy elected 46 weeks after the Pope's birthday. Second Catholic president, Catholic 46. Again, there's a reason for it. 46 books in the Catholic Old Testament. And you know what? Let me put Catholic back up there. 145 more chapters. The day Maui burned was the day leaving 145 days left in the year when it began August 8th. And there's 145 more chapters in the Catholic Old Testament. And the story of Sodom and Gomorrah, where God punishes the city by bringing fire and destruction to it. Again, that's part of that telling. And again, Obama's legacy has to do with, you know, the moral story, if you agree with those more, but just going off, not having any bias about it, but just saying the Bible implication is that God could burn you to nothing for homosexuality. Again, that's, a lot of people say that's Obama's biggest legacy, is what he did for gay rights. So Old Testament, biblical rituals. You see how Catholic 71, this happened 71 years and change after Pearl Harbor. It happened on the 353rd day of the state's age, which is the 71st prime. And there's another part of that right now that I'm forgetting. But again, just think about it. On the Jesuit order's birthday, Governor Green calls the site ground zero and literally compared it to 9/11 and what happened in New York. After all these years of talking about this, last year, literally, we were in New York City at the World Trade Center teaching about 127, buildings 1, 2, and 7. And how it relates, again, to the original Pearl Harbor on December 7th, the Pearl Harbor event of 1941, and the new Pearl Harbor of September 11th, 2001. And by the way, 127, it's the 31st prime number. 31's the 11th prime number. 11's the master number in numerology. So 127 has a connection to 31, which connects to 11 mathematically. New York, 9/11, the 11th state, the 11th day of the month, the buildings that look like an 11, flight AA11, and so on. The World Trade Centers were 110 stories tall, 110. And the other thing about Polynesia and 127, we're just 2 days from August 26th. I'm a little bit concerned about August 26th. It's the day leaving 127 days left in the year. It would be the 127th day of Oppenheimer's age, and they just put out that Oppenheimer film about inventing the big sophisticated bombs and weapons that destroyed Japan on the dates surrounding what just happened to Maui, which isn't too far from Japan. Going with that hip-hop 808 thing and that machine being from Japan, and kamikaze pilots in Japan, and 9/11 blamed on kamikaze terrorist pilots. But the Taco Bell. Remember how a few years back, probably 6, 7 years back now, time flies. Taco Bell was doing that ad campaign making fun of the Illuminati, Taco Bell Illuminati. Remember, Taco Bell's the only fast food chain with the gematria connection of 201, just like the Jesuit order, like Order of Illuminati, like Hawaii being born 201 months after Joe Biden, and the million other 201s that we've documented about Jesuit Illuminati rituals. Again, Beau Biden dead at age 46, 201 days before the Pope's birthday, the first Jesuit Pope, the first live-in suite 201. But the Taco Bell that burned up in Lahaina, it was on the address, it was at the address 127 Hinau. And the thing about Hinau, again, you look up that word, Hinau meaning, look at this. It's a New Zealand timber tree. New Zealand's in Polynesia. So again, just looking at this bigger thing, New World Order rituals, Illuminati, operating worldwide, influence in world government, keys to military technology, steering an agenda. They want you to give up more rights and liberties, just like they did to you on 9/11. Now they want to terrorize you with the environment, to give up more rights and liberties, to go down the path of their agenda that benefits them, that gives them more control. They're using the world's military technology to achieve it. That's why the people look like Mount Vesuvius ran over them in Maui, in Lahaina. But yes, I imagine there will be more weather rituals with this number between Hawaii and Polynesia. And Polynesia's already been getting it bad. You know, this was just like what happened in Paradise, California. From that time forward, that region of the world, Australia, Polynesia, they've had a lot of weird weather phenomena. It's getting real bad down there. And again, I mean, Hawaii's really bad. America will probably forever, until the next worst thing happens, have Maui at the forefront of their mind when they think of disastrous things in the weather, because it's been presented as the worst fire disaster in a century, even worse than what happened in California 5 years ago. But America doesn't oftentimes pay attention to what's also going on in the rest of the world. And again, just keep your eyes on Polynesia, because we got to wake up humanity, not just the people in America, but the people of the world, to what's going on. And Americans need to recognize that what's going on in other places of the world can happen here. And that has been happening and going on, whether they've realized it or not. So yeah, again, Kobe Bryant, the new statue, it's going to be unveiled February 8th. A couple more things about that date. Can be written 8/2 like 82. Bryant has the gematria of 26, like he died on the 26th, 37, like he died on the 37-year anniversary of Bear Bryant, and also 82. Again, this is the system. And the word game is similar with the 26 and 82. And Vanessa Bryant, who unveiled, if you guys actually read the article about Vanessa Bryant, it said she posted at 8/24 on 8/24 that they're going to put up the statue on February 8th, 24. But notice how Vanessa Bryant is also 82, right? Vanessa's 82. She makes this announcement while she's 41 years old about the Kobe statue to immortalize him, the man who died at age 41. Remember, Kobe said in the Black Mamba film, which ends with an exploding helicopter, his last line in the film is "Legends live forever," with all the fours we started with at the beginning. Today, you guys just keep an eye on today. Last year, Len Dawson died on Kobe Bryant Day, the Chiefs quarterback, and the Super Bowl ended up being the Chiefs versus the Eagles. The Chiefs versus the Eagles was the Super Bowl last year. And again, Kobe's an Eagles fan. Kobe was a big part of the celebrations of the year that the Eagles upset the Rams in the playoffs, then went on to upset the Patriots in the Super Bowl. But this year, today, Kobe Bryant Day, you have Kobe's Eagles playing the Colts, who are originally from Baltimore. And all year we've been tracking all the deaths related to Baltimore and the lead up to Super Bowl 58. And notice how Baltimore's got the 58 and 41 like Kobe Bryant. Baltimore also has the 95, and this year the Super Bowl is on the 95th birthday of the Vatican. And Baltimore is considered the most Catholic city in America. And there's something going on with the Saints this year because they were supposed to host the Super Bowl, but then it went to Vegas instead because they got the new stadium. And then Derek Carr, a lifelong Raider who's hosting the Super Bowl this year, the Raiders. But Derek Carr, a lifelong Raider, goes to the Saints. And then we had that man who was drafted by the Saints, who played his whole career at the Raiders, who was born on 5/8, just died recently, former NFL player Mr. Campbell. 5/8 birthday, Saints, Raiders connection. There's something going on here. Again, we're trying to put the pieces of the puzzle together as we have so many times before. And last year, it was really low-hanging fruit on Kobe Bryant birthday. And we did look at that, you know. We said, oh, man, that is perfectly synced. Kansas City Chiefs 172. Len Dawson dead 172 days before the Super Bowl that the Chiefs went on to win over Kobe's Eagles. And a year to the day of that game, the first Eagles quarterback to ever face the Chiefs in the NFL history died. Go back and look that one up, too. Names are dying besides Kobe. There's rituals happening all over the place. But Baltimore's got that 58. And today, you know, just in light of them, the Eagles playing the Colts, you know, the Colts are now in Indianapolis, but they did start in Baltimore. And for the record, Indianapolis is the only city in America that has Gematria 201. That special Illuminati number. And remember what we just talked about with Charlotte Hornets being the only 201 team in the NBA and Michael Jordan being in Italy 201 days after the Pope's birthday, and a ritual that didn't work out too well once upon a time for James Gandolfini of The Sopranos, which came out in 99, only for Gandolfini to die on the 99th day of the Pope being the Pope on a vacation in Italy. But yeah, that game today between the Eagles and the Colts, who are originally from Baltimore. The statue is going to be unveiled 3 days before the Super Bowl. 3 days. Super Bowl 3 was the New York Jets and the Baltimore Colts. And the Jets won that Super Bowl 16-7 with Broadway Joe, who guaranteed it. 167 is the 39th prime. Every Super Bowl ever won by a New York team, 4 by the Giants, 1 by the Jets, all come back to the number 39. And so the Bills' Super Bowl losses have also been about 39, and some of those were to the Giants. But hold on. Let me finish the chain of thought. Okay, again, something else to think about in light of the Super Bowl 3 thing. The Hall of Fame game this year was the Browns and the Jets, and it was on the 3rd day of August. Football equals 83 like Cleveland Browns. But again, the Kobe statue announcement is today, 3 days again before the Super Bowl on February 11th. And this year, HBO's Hard Knocks begins with the coach of the Jets telling his players about how an eagle kills a crow, which is also a raven. So I'm just looking at all this, all the clues that are being dropped, right? All the clues that are being dropped. Why does Hard Knocks start that way? Out of all the places they could have started, the Jets coach talking about how an eagle kills a raven. Now on Kobe's birthday, you got the Eagles playing the Colts, who are originally from Baltimore. Sometimes you gotta look past the first layer of the onion. But yeah, these are all things we're going to be keeping an eye on. All things we'll be keeping an eye on. I said the Kobe statue is coming on the 54 date, Numaji, right? We talked about that. And Jay-Z turning 54 and Beyonce and her wish on this day in Virgo, the time of the Virgin Mary. You know what happened to the Queen last year in the big Jesuit ritual 201 days after her COVID diagnosis. How many more 201 rituals will they do in Indianapolis? The other Pennsylvania team's also playing Atlanta, which is in focus right now. I got to think more about that. Matt Ryan with the Colts and Falcons connection. Matt Ryan with the huge 201 ritual, who's Jesuit educated at Boston College. Steelers, the only Jesuit publicly owned team by a Jesuit family, the Rooney family. Remember what they did in Matt Ryan's 201st career game? They showed it, like they didn't announce that it was his 201st career game, but we were watching it being aware. And then in the Fox broadcast, they had to put up a stat on the screen how at the time Brady, Breeze, and Ryan were all in the division, and they showed how their combined passing yards was equivalent to 201 laps around the Cowboys stadium where the game was that Matt Ryan was in. And Matt Ryan gave up a big lead in that game, just like how he gave up a big lead to Tom Brady. in Texas, in the Texan Stadium, when back in the days there was the Dallas Texans. Again, Matt Ryan went to the Jesuit school in Boston, gave up the huge 25-point lead on 2/5 in the 97th NFL season, which was the 25th prime, where they moved the touchback to 25 yards and Falcons is 25. But again, just the jokes, the numbers, the rituals. So could be something there with that. Again, it's always a puzzle. If you can put, in the years I've put the puzzle together correctly, I've done really well. In the years where I didn't quite have it together, we've missed and then often corrected when there was still time to make a nice profit. But again, Gematria shows you what's up. And by the way, just measuring from, I'm really curious about what's going to happen in the NBA on November 3rd. It'll be the 27th anniversary of Kobe's debut in the NBA. Of course, Kobe Bryant's 113 like Michael Jordan, like the National Basketball Association. If you throw a "the" in front of it, you get a 113 instead of the 98 that's on the screen. We normally talk about 113 with Kobe, but 98 in NBA is important too. And again, from Kobe's anniversary to the unveiling of the statue is 98 days. Kobe Bryant statue 98, like National Basketball Association. And again, on November 3rd, the Bulls, Jordan's team, are playing Brooklyn, and Jordan's from Brooklyn. And that's the 223rd day of his Italian, or she's not, she's actually Cuban. At least that's what they say. But it's the 223rd day of her age. And Brooklyn, New York's 223, and that's another number, another subject, biblical number, goes back to Philadelphia, like, because I guess just to sum it up real quick, in Revelation 3:7, you get the story about the Church of Philadelphia and the Synagogue of Satan. The Synagogue of Satan equals 223, just like Philadelphia. And again, Jordan finished in Philly, Kobe from Philly, the first basketball championship won by Philly, Daryl Dawkins, Moses Malone, LeBron dropping Kobe to fourth in points scored the day before Kobe dies in Kobe's hometown, Philly, and on and on and on. The fourth book of the Bible, Numbers, the end of the Bible, Revelation with Philadelphia. But yeah, her announcement while she's 41 now, the age Kobe died at, the number that defined Kobe's career. Yeah, to sum it up, again, if you are in the Los Angeles area, apologies for not being there today. I really feel like I should be there, but getting priorities done. I know if I get these books out, I get systematic about it. We have them all out by the end of the year. All the things that I'm envisioning can potentially happen. If the short books can generate some revenue, again, what I really want to do for the next year is be out pounding pavement all over the place, bringing people together about things like Kobe, things like Maui, things like how rigged our elections are and what a big game's being played with our lives and why we need to see the game for what it is so we can figure out how to stop it and solve it. It's going to take a mass resistance, and people will. If people had the will for the mass resistance, the system would break. You know, why does someone like me have the will to break the system, but another man doesn't? I just think it's because the other man doesn't see the game for as clearly as I learned to see it, and that's probably mostly due to life circumstance. But this game is sick, and it's a wheel that needs to stop turning. We need to start turning a different wheel. I'm debating now with the statue thing because I didn't have this in the short book on talking about this and how they got it against the Nuggets. Because again, the Nuggets just won the NBA Finals 4-1, outscoring Miami by 41 points when Jokic was the 41st pick, and they did it on number 41's birthday, George Herbert Walker Bush, who's Mr. Skull and Bones. Skull and Bones has the Russell Trust, what they did with Bill Russell, all the Russells in the NBA, the Russell balls. I can't decide if I want to sneak this part into the book. I didn't have that element. Maybe I'll just save that for a part 2. I'll just do additions because this Kobe story just keeps unrolling. There'll be more times to tell it. And you know what? Actually, I'm actually looking forward to this basketball season because it was just at the end of the season that we were starting to unpack the Russell Trust. That's the money behind Skull and Bones, the powerful secret society at Yale. But we were just starting to unpack the rituals they were doing in tribute to the Russell Trust. I was like, God, this makes so much sense. How powerful is this secret society? How much money's behind this thing? You know what D26 was telling me in India is that Yale, that campus was built with the money made by these guys off selling opioids that they were harvesting out of India back in the day. And if that's true, and right now, I don't have enough evidence. I got to do more research on that. But if that's true, doesn't that make so much sense? Because again, think about it. They called George Herbert Walker Bush Poppy Bush because he's connected to Reagan and Iran-Contra and the supposed drug funneling, which is supposedly a conspiracy theory. But oh, wait a minute, no, it's true. It's funny how in America, like things that are true, a lot of people just think are a conspiracy theory. People got to look into it more. But this is how he got the nickname Poppy Bush. And then while his son is president, we go into Afghanistan, who's also a member of Skull and Bones. But we go into Afghanistan and kill the Taliban and bring back the poppy production. And the next thing you know, there's an opioid crisis worldwide. And then finally they take down Oxy, but then they give you fentanyl. Again, Skull and Bones is modeled after how the Knights Templar bury their dead, the old military order of the Catholic Church, the Templar cross, and the Jesuit logo. Skull and Bones, Templars, Jesuits, Illuminati, all roads lead to Rome. I mean, it just history repeating itself. If that's true, that if you've never been, I went to Yale for the first time last year to check out that campus, and those students really received this work. We talked to a lot of students there. Everybody got it. And again, a little bit higher intellect at Yale. And what did we teach them at Yale? Something simple, and branched out from there. But again, Yale's got one of the most undeniable examples. Yale equals 43 in gematria, most simple cipher. The 43rd vice president and the 43rd president, both members of Yale Skull and Bones. Number 43 was elected in Florida, where his brother was the 43rd governor, in what's a very controversial election, even in the history books. And then you can branch out into the other ciphers. Now Florida equals 43, and why Brady went down to Florida at age 43 and won the Super Bowl when the Skull and Bones member Walter Camp is who American football is credited to. And, Tom Brady and the Illuminati. Talk about Mr. 201, born 201 years after the Illuminati and America. He's got a whole bunch of 201 rituals to his name, including when he won that Super Bowl at age 43, had 201 passing yards. And that reminds me that Skull and Bones has the 201 connection. And that's why the movie about Skull and Bones came out 201 days after Paul Walker's birthday, who died 5 years to the day of George Herbert Walker on November 30th, 11 plus 30, 41. And don't forget, we called that. We said George Herbert Walker Bush would not live past November 30th and would die at age 94. And he died on that exact day, 5 years to the day of Paul Walker. Paul Walker died in the red Porsche, like the one he got in the movie about Skull and Bones called The Skulls, which came out right before Bush got elected the second Skull and Bones president, at least on the public record. Skull and Bones are practical jokesters, too. You think about all the predictive programming with Kobe, the after-death shoe, the year of his retirement, 2016, days before the Comedy Central Legends of Chamberlain Heights cartoon came out. Cartoon came out on 11/16. Or 16/11, the 16th day of the 11th month. The King James Bible came out in 1611. King James passed Kobe in points scored in biblical Philly, dropping him to 4th on the leaderboard, only for Kobe to die in a big 4 ritual 4 years after Moses Malone. In light of everything that went down in 1983 that we started the stream with, the relationship with 4. Again, the 4th book of the Bible, Numbers. That's how you can see it's all biblical. When I read the preview, which I'm not, sorry, I said I was going to end up reading the full book today on Kobe Bryant Day, but I've gotten way behind with the Maui thing. It'll be soon. We're going to get this all done soon. It's all close. And, but yeah, something I have been thinking about in the book is if I should keep out the spiritual, biblical, religious element all the way in just the intro, because so many people are just so repulsed by that topic. That's the thing that's tough about America, too. So many people have so many feelings and emotions in them about certain things, and they just won't even discuss it. They just get provoked or angry or some kind of response that takes them out of wanting to have a discussion. And, yeah, religion can be one of those things. But, I mean, the Kobe thing is so biblical. Anyway, I'll get it right before it releases. So Trump arrives in Atlanta to surrender. You guys, just about how it's bigger than Kobe. Again, from Kobe's last birthday to the pandemic being declared was 201 days later, and Kobe died shortly after the Event 201 pandemic simulation. And The 201 number. Again, it's Jesuit, it's Illuminati. Just the rituals we've seen recently. Donald Trump's in Montgomery, Alabama at the hotel address 201 the day before the race brawl. And Montgomery's the old capital of the Confederate South. And then he's in Atlanta, big, Confederate location in the time of the Civil War. And in Atlanta, the night that he's indicted, the Yankees just happened to be playing the Braves in interleague play, which is relatively rare. The Yankees and Braves played each other for the 67th time all time in Major League Baseball history. And that's not a lot of games in baseball over, the 100 plus years of baseball. These teams rarely play each other, but they just happened to be playing that night. And the Braves whooped the Yankees 11-3. This is about the election back in 2020 on 11-3. But the Braves took a league best record of plus 201 runs scored, meaning they've outscored their opponents by 201 runs on that night. And again, we've been documenting all the 201 rituals with all these people: Biden, Trump, all these players on the chessboard. Aaron Rodgers, Kobe, LeBron, just all over the place. Nonstop 201s that were documented on the world stage. The stories, the things that are making the screens, that are making the minds of the masses. But now Trump's surrender, you guys. I want you to understand, even everything that we figured out, there's still more to understand. And shout out to the people who helped put this together further. I want you to see how perfect Trump's surrender in Atlanta is today. There's a lot. Fulton County equals Donald Trump equals federal. There's a lot to explain about this, but this is what I really want you to see right here. I think it's in this post. Okay, there's a lot of things here that are interesting, but we're skipping down here to today's date can be written 24/8. 24/8. President Donald Trump 248. Today is 2,480 days after he first won election, 248. And today is the day in history that Pluto was demoted from a planet, going from 9 to 8. And Pluto has a 248-year cycle. And Pluto relates to plutocracy, which is rich by the rule. And Donald Trump is now a ruler, and he comes from royalty, essentially. Richness, the ruling class. There's a lot more to the numbers up there, but we're just going to focus on the 248 just to keep it brief. With regards to Pluto, you guys, it became a planet in 1930. It's the only planet discovered in America. That was the same year America's Walt Disney, who's Mr. 201 himself, a Walter Elias Disney 201, Walt Disney World 201, off exit 201. But that was the same year Disney created the character Pluto in the film The Chain Gang, where Mickey Mouse goes to prison. But Pluto, in the same year as the planet Pluto discovery, then 76 years later, it was demoted as a planet. Disney equals 76. Donald John Trump, 76. To the ancients, planets are gods. Again, we're talking about how men are worshipped as gods. In the same way, plenty of people worship Michael Jordan and Kobe Bryant. They worship Donald Trump. And maybe even more so, because in my lifetime, I never seen Kobe Bryant or Michael Jordan flags out on the side of the highway in the backs of people's yards. But as I drove across all this nation, I saw so many Trump flags. People love Donald Trump so much, even when he's not in office. They're so taken by this guy who buried his ex-wife last year on the 201st day of the year. Gave birth to Donald Trump Jr. on the 201st day of his age. Got married in a big 201 ritual. Was part of this Jesuit gang. But yeah, just notice also how Pluto and Arizona have the same gematria. It was discovered in Arizona, which goes with the United States of America. Jesuit also has the same gematria. If you do it the small way, Pluto equals 21 like Jesuit. And Pluto became a character for the first time in Disney's 21st animated film. The fallout with Donald Trump in Georgia began January 1st, 21. So yeah, again, the reason I'm just transitioning into these subjects is to remind you, it's bigger than Kobe. And these are the things going on in the world on Kobe Bryant Day in the year 2023. They'll probably be even more unpleasant in 2024. And remember, and They Live, which came out 201 days after Roddy Piper's birthday, the star of the film, He said the movie was a documentary, only to die on the very significant day to the Jesuits, the day in history that their founder died. And he tweeted on the day of their recognition, September 27th, that the film was a documentary. Never seen They Live. It's kind of a cheesy film, but in the film, the ruling class, the plutocracy, if you will, they say they're going to have full control over the world by 2025. And I imagine there could be a lot more blowtorch wins in a lot more communities, bigger than Lahaina, between now and then and thereafter, as they forge the wonderful world of make-believe. That's why there's a thin line between Walt Disney and all this stuff, and Donald Trump and Ronald Reagan and Hollywood, and Kobe died in Hollywood, and it was foretold in Hollywood films made by you guys know who made the Black Mamba film? The one where that ends with an exploding helicopter? Robert Rodriguez. I mean, there's just, again, you guys, and Kobe's production film company was Granity Studios, also 201. And you guys, big number. Order of Illuminati, 201. The founder of it, Adam Weishaupt, died 201 days after the anniversary of its establishment. Died on the 322nd day of the year. Order 322 at Skull and Bones, part of this Illuminati network. Again, the Jesuit order is 201. The founder, Ignatius of Loyola, is 201. The first Jesuit Pope, Jorge Mario Bergoglio, lives in Suite 201. That's Pope Francis, and his name's 201. Leo Jeremiah O'Donovan, Jesuit priest who did the funeral for Beau Biden at age 46 and the inauguration for Joe Biden on January 20th, 20/1, the 201st day of the nation's age each year, 201. And the list goes on. Beyonce, she did that big Lion King. Here, hold on. Beyonce had a 201. Let me go back and see what it was. Let's not forget the actor who portrayed Simba. Obama joked that he was Simba. Then that man just died this year, the day after Obama's birthday at age 47, the age Obama became president at. Beyonce had out the Black is King thing on the very special day, the day that Ignatius of Loyola, the founder of the Jesuits, died. And Black is King in Jewish Gematria, 201. That was 54 weeks after the film released. And again, like I was talking about, just, Kobe 54, Kobe's new statue coming out on 54 date numerology, Jay-Z turning 54, The Ritual with the Black Godfather, Disney Plus is where it released. Disney, Illuminati. Disney's a mega company worldwide, owns all kinds of brands, larger than life. Every winning quarterback's going to Disneyland. Beyonce and Jay-Z wedding, fateful day, MLK anniversary. Kim Kardashian and Kanye married on the 144th day of the year. Oh, snap. Going back in history. August 8th, 2011. Watch the Throne released. And we're talking about Jay-Z and Kanye and where they fit in with this. Wow. I was overlooking that their album came out on that. Again, they're the Ends in Paris, right? International Chess Day out of Paris begins on the 201st day of the year. July 20th. Well, I'm glad I didn't miss that. Every time I finish a book, though, every time I finish it, I'm usually happy with it, and there's enough there. But it's like it never fails. I realize something like the very next day that I'm like, oh my God, how's that not in there? So anyway, I hope I made the point clear enough. If you guys are in LA by the Staples Center, go find Ralph, man. I think Ralph's out there right now. He put up a video today, and he said he's going to be out by the Staples Center getting the word out. And I feel bad because I know Ralph would be more about it if more of us were coming out. But again, you guys, you got to network. So every place I've gone to, I've seen people networking and exchanging numbers, but I don't know what happens after that. Do people never recollab? I mean, it hasn't happened a lot. I've only really seen. I know Chicago did it a little bit. They got together, and they even actually did that before I came through Chicago. But yeah. Anyway, it's not happening enough. People got to network, collaborate. We got to be out pounding pavement all over the place. I want to be there every time, but I can't be there every time. You know. Let me say thank you. Amal says WWE Bray Wyatt dead at 36 on Vince McMahon's 78th birthday. Man, isn't it sad? We're always talking about Vince McMahon's birthdays and how they're synced up with these wrestlers' deaths. This time it's on the birthday. Okay. Thank you. Power outage in my hometown of Buffalo tonight. Just saw a power outage at Tom Benson Stadium shortly after the Mountain Dew pitched black. Again, you guys, just here. Let me put this up on the background to get the visual right as we talk about it. What you gonna do when the grid? That's probably enough. Let's see. I got to get it up here. I just need the album cover up here. There's really a lot more I can say that I'm going to say, but this is what I need up here. Okay, Public Enemy put out this album on the anniversary of JFK's weather control speech. What you going to do when the grid goes down? JFK gave this speech about the future of weather control and how it could save the world, essentially, if it was used the right way. Make sure there's no drought, break up storms, this type of thing. But he gave the speech of weather control September 25th, 1961. And again, that's his first year in presidential office. This album came out on September 25th, 2020. So the 59th anniversary, is that right? The 59th anniversary. And that's a whole nother thing. But this album, it was also synced with Chadwick Boseman in the Black Panther film, and how in the beginning of that film you see the Public Enemy posters on the wall right before you see the technology used by the Black Panther to black out the enemy down below as they dive from the sky. And we've been talking about this, just how Amazon put out Lockdown 2025, where power outage happens and then like a race war breaks out. And it went with George Floyd and what happened after he was killed on the 225th day of his age, and where 225 fits in with the Great Tribulation, and now 225 is similar to 2025. Again, that's the they live year. It's the SPARS year. It's the year that a number of things point to. I just found one the other day, and I think I forgot to write it down. I said, no, there's another 2025, and now I can't remember what it was. But it'll come back to me. Anyhow, now Mountain Dew, who's been putting out these flavors seemingly synced with disasters in the world, this year, at the start of this year, on Martin Luther King Jr.'s birthday, they put out the Pitch Black flavor. And again, it was a decade ago, Janet Napolitano of Arizona, like how the Public Enemy cover has Arizona. It was Janet Napolitano in 2013 who, when she stepped down from the Department of Homeland Security, said that the next 9/11 was not if, but when, it will be the power grid going down. And they've been talking about this on 60 Minutes in recent years. And right after 60 Minutes did the story, you had a scare at the reactor out here in this Washington state. And I think somewhere else on the East Coast. But again, just power outage. Getting this racial division. Lots of focus on Black Lives Matter. Remember, in Gematria, Black Lives Matter equals 56, like Black Power, like how this album was put out 56 days after Chuck D's album, the leader of Public Enemy. And, of course, Society of Jesus, 56. Huge number with their rituals, like Obama, the first Black president, the 56th. Again, they've been talking about this now for a decade. At least I mark it from when Janet Napolitano said it. That was back in 2013. It's 10 years later. These people work on a slow scale. With regards to Arizona, which is on the cover here, Arizona's the Valentine's Day state. You had the blackouts on Valentine's Day following this album from Portland to Houston to Atlanta because of the crazy weather. Came out on the weather control speech anniversary. Think about it. Crazy. Remember how cold Texas got? It's like, what? I never heard about being that cold in Houston, the refining city. These people are after carbon emissions, man. This looked like some crazy agenda for the Green New Deal with targeted weather warfare. But yeah, the Valentine's Day is 14/2. It also happened 142 days after this album came out. But anyhow, Public Enemy has the song By the Time I Get to Arizona. And what that song was about why, Arizona's this racist state because it was the last state to recognize Martin Luther King Jr. Day. Then MLK was killed, and then 201 days after his assassination was the first major gun control legislation in 68, and Donald John Trump 68. MLK was killed on 4/4. Now Trump's doing the 201 ritual in Atlanta, getting his fourth indictment in the fourth state. And, this is going on years of just all these stories they put out there, like the Trump tombstone in Central Park. Anyway, all of these things that are being laid down all over the place are clues of where they're taking us and who's doing it. The chaos that's coming, the power outage, the racial division, the next pandemic, the next crazy storm that's blamed on a natural disaster as they tell you it's blowtorch winds. Again, you guys, this is all from the same gang right here. This is all the same gang. So yeah, this all does factor in with Mamba Day. This is the information people need to know on Mamba Day. What happened? If you got here late, we've been all over the place. We got to start at the beginning. What happened to Moses Malone and Daryl Dawkins? What happened to Kobe? What might be happening to Jordan in the not too distant future? Hopefully not. Hopefully not. I hope Jordan sees this video and has an extra swivel. Got to be paying attention. This world of celebrity is dangerous. But again, we went from there and way beyond, all the way into the current events, Maui. Again, everything everybody needs to know about how messed up this world is and why we, the people, got to wake up to it, spread the word, and then stop it. Again, stopping it means not going to these rigged games anymore, not contributing to this system in as many ways as we possibly cannot. It means not buying these Nike shoes anymore. It means not giving to this system that controls us with consumerism and entertainment and seemingly spits in our face at the same time. That's the point that needs to be made too. If we understand all this, then we have the wrong behavior. What's the point of knowing it? So. But yeah, if you got here late, feel free to rewind, and then you better have your listening ears on because I was super tense, General. There's probably some parts where you really got to pay attention to make sense of what I was connecting. But thank you, Fabian. I appreciate the update on that and the generosity. Spatium Viator, $5. Thank you very much. He said, did you know 8/8's the Lionsgate? Yes, indeed. And Teddy Bridgewater was wearing the number 50 on that day for the Detroit Lions, and Lion equals 50, and going with the 50th state and the 50th birthday of hip hop and all that. So yes, appreciate that. Earth begins to come around the sun to reveal Sirius. Watch the Lionsgate film intro 8:24. It fully reveals Sirius. And remember, Jordan came out to the song Sirius, which equals 95. His father was found dead at the at the intersection of Route US 74 and Interstate 95. Cover the Pluto shooting. Well, is that something in the news today? Pluto shooting. 16-year-old arrested for murder after shooting on Indy's West Side. Dude got a ski mask hoodie. Is this it? Is this what the Pluto shooting is? One dead in shooting near Pluto Drive. Yeah, it's the same story. Okay. So there was recently just a shooting at, again, you guys, just the ritualism. We talked about, that was part of this video. President Donald Trump, 248. Today, 24/8. Pluto's 248-year cycle, 2,480 days since his election. Since the election day, November 8th, 2016. And then right before that, a shooting on Pluto Drive in in Indianapolis, the only 201 city in America. Here, I just want to make a point about that. Again, a lot of 201 rituals go down in Indianapolis. I was just saying how where they're putting the Kobe statue, it's going to be next to the Elgin Baylor statue. At least I imagine so, because that's where all the statues are. But Indianapolis 201, remember Elgin Baylor played at the Jesuit school, Seattle U. And there's 2 Jesuit universities in Washington State. There's only 27 Jesuit universities in all of the United States. 27, 50 states, so most states don't have one. 2 are in Washington. There might be a few other states that have 2, including New York. Let's go over that. But anyhow, the first Jesuit university is Georgetown in Washington, D.C. But anyway, the year that Baylor won the championship, you see how Jesuits is 86? Again, the Jesuit order is 201. Indianapolis is 201. All those things in the same cipher, just running the alphabetic order in reverse. Elgin Baylor, from his last birthday to the day Baylor won the championship, was 201 days. And Elgin Baylor died on 3/22, March 22nd at age 86, right before Baylor won with 86 points, defeating the Jesuit school Gonzaga. And then the coach of Baylor, the championship was also 201 days before his upcoming birthday, and he went to school in Indianapolis at Butler. And then, the next year it was the 201 area code, the Jesuit school, the St. Peter's Peacocks with their big run. That their last big win came on Peacock Day, and then Delnardo Webster, Jesuit educated, died on March 22nd, the anniversary of Elgin Baylor. And then this year on the anniversary of March 22nd, I'm forgetting his name right now, but he went to Creighton, the Jesuit school. He actually died March 21st, but then it was the news March 22nd as well. And again, year after year, just this Jesuit stuff going on with basketball from Kobe. And we talk about the Jesuits and the basketball rituals way before Kobe died. Again, it's all in this book that talked about Kobe and his career in 41 years before he died. So that's why I don't know why anyone can come and say we're tripping. We've been pointing out some very specific things that are now more specific than ever. Yeah. Okay, it's getting long-winded. Trump surrenders, plutocracy, mockery, political theater, storylines by the numbers day after day to keep people entrenched, to further the division as they create a new civil war. Don't forget, Lincoln blamed the Civil War on the Jesuits. Confederate equals 201. He said that was really what was behind the Confederate South was the Jesuits who liked slavery. And again, the Jesuits always tease him with reparations payments. 40 acres and a mule equals 201. 40 acres and a mule, 201. 201 men in the control group for the Tuskegee experiment. Eazy-E dead 201 days after his birthday after the Lethal Injection album. Who was supposed to get the jab the most after Event 201 in the simulation and the pandemic? We all know who. They look like Kobe, Eazy-E. What's Black Mamba venom do to humans? Kobe and the pharmaceutical lawsuit. Big jokes, big riddles. Like, this is the society of Jesus, and Jesus spoke in parables in the Bible, which are riddles. Okay, but I'm done skipping all over the place. And that's what I got to say about the Pluto shooting. Thank you again, John Mendoza. Always so consistent with the generosity. I appreciate your dollar again. And congrats to the winners is getting up there too. I realize lots of requests and observations, which I appreciate. Thank you. Logan Thomas, thank you again as well, friend. Another name I call a lot. Kobe's still alive because he refuses to pass. Ha. And then Barbara, I've never seen a $500 super chat. I really appreciate that. Hey, Zachary, I may not be able to enlighten as you do. However, you have touched my life more than you will ever know. Age 72 plus, I am open to the truth. Barbara, thank you. I'm very grateful for you and that you can put up with my foul mouth and my rants and stick around and take what's good. But that is a very serious donation, and I really appreciate that. And I'll put that to good use here in the near future. Again, I do intend to get out to a lot of locations in the very near future, including Hawaii, and trying to smooth over some rough patches with Sweet Lady right now. She is not happy about my travel plans, but we'll get it worked out. And thank you. Your generosity definitely helps make things possible. So I appreciate that. All right, True Seeker. Speaking of sweet lady, I got to start making dinner around here. Again, thank you to everyone who hits the like and the share. If there's some little segment of this video that you think's more important than another, you can clip that. Thank you if you share it on your social media. Anyone's welcome to share any of my material anytime. It's all for the sharing. And again, in the very near future, we'll have some short books. We'll be out again, pound and payment like we did at the Staples Center in April. That Kobe statue day is going to be here before you know it. So again, mark it down on your calendar, February 8th, 2024. If you guys want to pound some payment at a basketball stadium sooner than that, Kayla Decode Talker, she's going to be out at the Phoenix Mercury and Sun Stadium on September 8th, talking about what they did with Brianna Griner and the massive 42 ritual and what's been going on with the season. Kayla keeps a laser focus on that WNBA. If you guys don't know Kayla, longtime member of the community. She's out with us in Oklahoma City last year. And if you're in the Phoenix area, Kayla could use some support. She's bringing her megaphone. So Daria has Kayla's YouTube channel. Again, if you just search Kayla, Kayla, Decode. So Kayla space Decode space Talker. It's a tribute to her Native American heritage. Like how they put out that Hollywood film Wind Talkers about the war. So Kayla's the Decode Talker, and she does great work. And I would like to. Oh man, I don't think I'm going to be able to make it there September 8th, but I'd like to. I haven't been down to Phoenix in forever. That's where I went to college, but I would like to be there. I'll definitely be there in spirit. I know Kayla will hold it down. So Anyway, going to get back to finishing things around the house, working on short books, excited about the road ahead. And again, in the crisis comes the opportunity. These crises, they're painful to watch because we know what's really going on. But again, I think we are reaching a critical mass where critical mass of knowledge, that is, where it really can pry open the most closed of minds. And that's what we got to do. We got to get people awake. That's phase one. People got to wake up to the agenda, then form the plan of action, and then change what's going on in this world. Because this stuff it's gross. Ritualistic death for God knows all what reasons, but clearly a big part of it's making money. Nike's still making a lot of money off those Kobe shoes. Again, it was a Nike ad that ended with the exploding helicopter. It was the Kobe Bryant after death shoe that came right out with the Comedy Central cartoon where Kobe dies in a helicopter crash. Came out days apart. Then the season of AD, Anthony Davis, AD, Kobe dies that year after the Kobe Bryant AD shoe. In 2016, his retirement year, like the Jesuits since the 16th century. I mean, think about it. Think about it. All right. Again, thank you, True Seeker. Appreciate everyone who hits the like and the share. And until next time.